I'm getting to a point now where it's becoming more and more difficult to justify my extreme fandom of the MCU and of comic book movies in general. It feels like we're going back to the 2002 era, guys, where we had a lot of bad comic book films and some occasionally that were really good.
Right. Yeah. You get like the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. You're like, wow, this is how it should be. And then you got Blade 3 and you're like, oh, that's bad. But now there's been a lot more Blade 3s and not Spider-Man 2s, unfortunately. And I think Marvel has just said, you know what? If we just pump this stuff out, these people are going to come see it. And I think that was correct. And now it's starting to go down. And they're saying, you know, do I need 6 episodes of Moon Knight? Because I'm lost after episode 2. And now I got a hippo god talking to me. Click, I'm out. You know, do I need a whole flashback of Ms. Marvel's grandparents on a train? I just don't, you know, so I'm going to keep going. And I don't even know what She-Hulk was. I wasted every Wednesday morning for a half an hour of my life. I could have been sleeping, you know, like, what is this? And I sat in Eternals. I thought it was a DC movie. Like, this is just trash. Marvel's got to do something. Like the Marvels is going to have to be the best movie they've ever made, or it's just going to keep going down.
And my hopes are not high for that.
This movie didn't help it though, right? Like this movie was supposed to be marketing for the Marvels, and it was almost as if had this been good, it would have given the Marvels a leg up. But because it's giving vibes of like, what is this? I think everybody's gonna approach the Marvels that way too. And so now you're sitting here with a movie that may still get pushed back, which is a whole other story.
Yes,
they didn't help it.
I think that it will get pushed back because of the strikes. And here's what we're going to be looking at. Some people that are delusional that think that the second Captain Marvel film or the Marvels is going to make $1 billion like the first one did are in for a rude awakening, an extremely rude awakening. I don't think I'm making a wild, bold prediction right now. I don't think the Marvels crosses over 500 mil, and it'll be lucky to get 500 mil. I really, because these days with budgets how they are and marketing how it is, you're touching 400 mil with everything added together. Some of these films, I don't think that like I said, I don't think that the Marvels will touch 500 million. I think that it'll be less than 500 mil.
Do you think it'll be 500 million box office or 500 million? Like it's not gain 500 million.
Oh no! I'm talking about total like gain from worldwide, global box office, domestic. Everything that they haul in is going to be 500 or less. So profit wise, we're talking maybe 100 mil, you know, maybe a little bit less than 100 mil, depending on what the cost of the budget and marketing and everything else was.
It's got to be a lot, right? I mean, Ant-Man made how much? 475 or something like that. It was definitely under 5. So,
and that was considered a borderline flop, like almost a flop for the MCU. Yeah. So I think this film is going to be in the same ballpark, maybe even less.
Well, I think Marvel knew it too. Captain Marvel, the first one, made over $1 billion. Why did they all of a sudden be like, we can't put her in alone? They saw the backlash that came, like, oh, you know, we marketed it being the woman, the Wonder Woman of the MCU. That worked for a little bit. Then people saw it and were like, oh, you know, and then they saw her in Endgame and were like, maybe we're going to have to we got to get somebody from WandaVision. We got to get the young, diverse character in here too, because Brie cannot carry this all by herself and get us to $1 billion again. But then, like you said, they pre-started it with Secret Invasion, and that just wasn't a good lead-in. That's not good.
Not at all.
And especially because no one watched it. So Joe Blow didn't spend, 6 hours watching Secret Invasion to go into the Marvels. But I mean, I guess that's part of why, they're putting Ms. Marvel on Hulu. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're like, somebody, because the strike is going to happen. I'm kind of all over the place, so I apologize. But the strike is still happening, but they've released all the toys. They've released all the clothing. So for them they're kind of paying themselves in a corner, like for them to not release it on time when all the merch is out, maybe just take this gamble of say, Brie can't do interviews, but everything is out. Let's just get this.
Am I saying that I hate white dudes? No, I'm not.
I did my stunts because I thought that that's what everyone did. And then
Tom Cruise over here?
No, I'll be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Get this out there and kind of cleanse our palate and see what happens after Christmas and hopefully come back with Deadpool 4 to save the MCU.
I think they actually are. They're hoping Vellani, Miss Marvel. I think they are assuming she might be able to carry the movie. And I know that's a lot to put on her young shoulders and everything, but as of now, we know that Captain Marvel doesn't, and you can see it in the trailer. They tried to bring more emotion out of her and everything like that. That was one of the biggest problems of Captain Marvel versus somebody like Wonder Woman. And the first Wonder Woman movie is a lot better for a lot of reasons, because at the very least, she shows emotion. There's actual feelings there that you as an audience member can identify with. Whereas the constant scowl of Captain Marvel, it never worked. But it was so perfectly positioned in between Infinity War and Endgame that it was going to make money no matter what. Teyonah Parris, who I actually just saw in They Clone Tyrone, and who was actually really good in that movie. She's a good actor, but they've given her nothing to do. They didn't give her much to do in WandaVision. So you're expecting all of us as an audience to just immediately, that's not going to work. And so I feel like they're looking at Miss Marvel like, well, she's going to be comedic. She's going to be the one who can maybe bring in the younger audience as well. There'll be some things with the older audience where maybe they might be able to identify with customs. I feel like they're throwing it all on her, and I don't know if that's a good strategy.
It's a better strategy than putting it all on Brie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what is the strategy, right?
Yeah, and I don't understand that. I don't understand that either, because she was I'm not like someone who has followed the career of Brie Larson very hardcore or anything like that, but it seems like she was a lot more likable, and the characters that she played on screen were way different than Captain Marvel 5-10 years ago, right?
She's an actually good actress. I think it gets lost in the sauce when it comes to her. Like, I don't even blame her as much. I blame what they gave her, and her not. She's not old. She's still like early 30s. So you got a situation where you're up and coming. You're not going to say anything against the studio, right? Like, you'll hear other people who are older, maybe they will fight against the studio. We've heard that with a perfect example of John Krasinski when he fought against the studio for things that happened in The Office. Or we've heard of Robert Downey Jr. doing that. But like, she's young. She's not going to do that kind of thing when at the time when Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel had come out. So she's just going to go with whatever they gave her. And what they gave her was terrible. But she's actually good. She was good in the movie The Room. I think she won an Academy Award for it. She's good in Kong Skull Island. She's good in Scott Pilgrim. Like, she's in these movies where she plays good parts. I'm wondering if maybe this movie is going to try and tap into her actual ability this time around. And maybe that's why they want to push it back, because they were going to try and push that and showcase that during all the red carpet premieres and everything like that. And now they won't be able to. That might be a reason.
And yeah, like you said earlier, I think you were saying this, or Jared, one of you guys were talking about her just not letting her do press interviews, giving her Ezra Miller treatment, because I don't know. Like, I mean, it seems like she put her foot in her mouth more than Joe Biden. I mean, every time she was speaking or had a microphone in front of her face, it was going to be something just cringy at best. You could tell that every single one of her castmates from Endgame, Infinity War, just did not like her being there, did not like the fact that they had to be sitting next to her. There's so many.
Look at the Marvels. You're hearing rumors that they didn't like her either on the set of.
Really?
Yeah. There's actual stuff that's come out saying that staff and even some of the other actresses did not like her on set.
Let me ask you guys a fun question. What kind of reaction do you think there would be to just the immediate recasting of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, like moving forward?
Yeah.
I think fans would love it. I think the media outlets would write all sorts of think pieces on it.
Yeah. Like negative pieces about it.
Yeah.
I can't believe Disney has done this.
Yeah.
She was the epitome of girl power in Hollywood.
Honestly, she might be the most untouchable person. And I know that seems kind of like crazy.
Well, you got Ezra Miller still. Don't forget about Ezra Miller. He's pretty untouchable.
Ezra wasn't. Ezra was, let's see if we can get this one over, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And now I don't think Ezra's going to have nearly the same kind of backing as originally planned.
Yeah, what was crazy to me, though, even after everything that happened with Ezra, the studio was still talking about the possibility of him returning to the role of the Flash. But then once the film came out and flopped hard, then those conversations went away completely. But I honestly believe if that film would have touched $1 billion or even gotten close.
You think so?
I think that he could have been coming back to the role. I really do. I
would
hate
have been
to say it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just the world that we live in, guys.
But Bree's not a criminal. He's actually criminal. Like it's actual and it's not even me being hyperbolic. Like there's actual documented evidence of him doing crime. She's not a criminal. She just has a bad attitude.
Yeah.
Well, she plays very flat, so that's why you could really get any blonde to play her. Like my wife could come in and do a better. And she's not an actress, and she doesn't like being on camera, but she's blonde. She could totally be Captain Marvel, and she would even charge half. She wouldn't even go for the full. You know, we would do that for Marvel.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Marvels performs at the box office. I hate to say this, but I will be there opening weekend because I have this channel. I have to cover it, you know, so that's the reason that I'll be there. But we'll see what happens.
I haven't used that excuse before. Well, I have a show. That's why I have to be there.
Absolutely.
I just can't be spoiled. So like I picked the earliest showing on Thursday to go so I can live my life without anxiety for the weekend.
Exactly what I do. I pick the earliest where nobody's going to it because it's like lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.